One thing that I would like to note before any of the video starts is how much effort that Israel and Fatima put into this, with the videos going corrupt, or at least my computer not being able to take them. So I had to record my parts over theirs, but I wanted to give them props for all the good notes that they took on the slides here for me to be able to record them. Thank you too, and let's get right into the video. There are plenty of malnutrition issues that take place all over the world. Our group has taken the task of explaining to you what adult obesity is and what it causes. But first, we must give some background knowledge. One of the three things that is important to understand would be macromolecules. They take a very large part in our life, coming in the forms of the food that we eat, the proteins that build up our muscles, etc. Our main focus on the topic of macromolecules is to understand how they take part in our diet, and to understand why that is important. In foods, they come in 4 different forms: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. If we leave them in that specific order, we can get CHO, CHON, and CHONT. These stand for carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. One thing to note is that because they all have different chemical makeups, they have different monomers. A monomer is a single molecule that, when bonded together with identical monomers, becomes a polymer. Each of the monomers for these have different names. A carbohydrate monomer is a monosaccharide. A lipids monomer is 2 things: glycerol and fatty acids. A protein's monomer is an amino acid, and a nucleic acid's monomer is a nucleotide. Carbohydrates are important because they are a quick energy supply for a person, while lipids are much slower and better kept to store energy for long periods of time, also known as fat. Proteins are used to build things such as muscles or other muscle tissue, and nucleic acids are used as a chemical code to determine how something will grow, such as if it will be a giraffe, an elephant, or human. Now that we know what they are, what would they be in our daily lives? Carbohydrates are mainly found in pastas and breads. Lipids are found in butter and margarine. Proteins are in meats and beans, while nucleic acids are in the DNA in our bodies and RNA. A second part that's important to understand would be photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a chemical reaction that occurs within plant cells that creates energy. Since it's a chemical reaction, it's important to know what the chemical equation is. In its balanced form, it is 6 carbon dioxide molecules and 6 water molecules, which, when paired with the catalyst sunlight, becomes 1 glucose molecule and 6 oxygen gas molecules. The carbon dioxide and water come from the atmosphere and from organisms, with water in the form of rain or poured onto the plant by its grower, and the carbon dioxide in the air. The oxygen produced is an extra product, and because the plant does not need it, it expels it out from the chloroplast, where this reaction takes place, and then out of the cell. Cellular respiration is also very important to understand. It's linked to photosynthesis because it is its exact opposite. The reactants of one are the products of the other. Since we're focusing on cellular respiration, the most valuable piece of information would be what ATP is. ATP is an energy-carrying macromolecule that is also known as the energy currency of a cell. ATP is crucial for human life and animal life because without it, it would be impossible for our bodies to perform the tasks necessary to survival. Now, how do we obtain this ATP from the oxygen and glucose, you may ask? A simple answer to this question would be that food obtained through eating and oxygen obtained through breathing are combined together and reformed into ATP inside the mitochondria of cells throughout your body. The food that we eat is broken down during digestion to produce glucose, which is essential for cellular respiration to occur. Some of the less important products of cellular respiration are water vapor and carbon dioxide gas. They are breathed out because the body does not need either of these. A healthy lifestyle is also important to have. One problem that people have is that they eat too many sugary foods and unhealthy drinks with the exclusion of exercise from their daily lives. There are also plenty of people who are alcoholics, with alcoholic beverages tending to have lots of calories in the form of fats. Hence the term beer belly. People with more healthy lifestyles tend to include exercise in their daily lives by walking or biking to work and going to the gym each day, as well as working on dieting so that they are making sure to eat healthier foods and to burn off all excess fat that they may have. Some of these healthy foods may include things such as whole wheat bread, fish, nuts, fruits, veggies, beans, milk, and the correct types of meats such as turkey or chicken, which don't have as much fat as beef or pork. Adult obesity is defined as having a BMI or body mass index of over 30. A person's body mass index is calculated by taking a person's weight in kilograms and dividing it by their height in meters squared. For example, a person who is 5 feet and 2.5 inches tall with a weight of 125 pounds would have a body mass index of 22.7, which is considered healthy. Speaking of a healthy BMI, a BMI of 19 through 25 is considered a healthy range. It is present in all countries on the planet, but is most prominent in countries with lots of wealth. Another thing to note is that the food being produced is now much unhealthier than it was 100 years ago, with plenty of candy bars and sodas being available at incredibly low prices. This also encourages the poor to eat unhealthier, causing it to be somewhat prominent in the poorer countries on this planet. Now that we know what it is, you probably want to know what causes it. Well, it is caused by a person taking in more calories than they use. If somebody eats healthy but sits around all day and does nothing, then they still have a high chance of being obese or overweight, because it still means that they aren't burning off all the calories that they eat, or using them to build muscles or tissue. One more thing to note is oversized food portions. People can be active and eat healthy foods, but if they eat in oversized portions, then the same effect will occur. They are still taking in more calories than they use. Obesity in adults can have many effects. One of the most prominent ones is diabetes. Diabetes is caused by having too much sugar in the bloodstream and causing organs such as the kidneys or the liver not to function properly. Some more effects can be strokes, cancer, heart disease, breathing problems, mental illness, etc. In the long run, these can have devastating effects as well, with many resulting in death if not properly treated. Adult obesity could be much simpler to prevent than you think it is. Raising awareness for eating better and exercising more can be a good way to make people know what they need to do and form plans to become more healthy. This could be achieved by making PSAs or public service announcements, or speaking to people in your community who may be affected by it in one way or another. Another thing that people could do would be to change the available products in stores to eat. Since there's lots of junk foods that can cause things such as adult obesity, wouldn't it be a good idea to replace these foods with things that are more healthy to eat? This would lower the availability of foods that can cause adult obesity, which would make it easier to help prevent it.